Hello everybody, J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more The House in Fata Morgana. Last time we left off, we had a little bit more insight into who exactly, I think his name was Giuseppe, right? Something like that. Who exactly he is, what kind of man he is, and in all honesty, he's a fucking asshole, to put it bluntly. So he has just now recently destroyed the garden, the rose garden, that the white-haired girl had put so much effort and care into revitalizing. And obviously this garden is going to have some kind of symbolic meaning, which I imagine will become a little bit more clear later on. But yeah, not exactly the best thing to do to your wife when that's kind of the only thing she has. So yeah, he seems to be kind of a control freak. He has some kind of thing going on with this blonde-haired maid. They seem to know each other from childhood. And obviously he's got some problems. He's got some things of his, some issues of his own that he doesn't seem to have fully sorted out. But without further ado, we're going to jump right on back into the story and see where it goes. Alright, here. Her sanctuary shattered. That evening, the white-haired girl sat in her room, staring sorrowfully at her Phenakis wheel. A small mirror before her, she tried spinning the paper disc, but it was just not the same as before. Her husband was not there at her side, and even more critically, there was no smile on her face. And then, she heard a faint knock on her door. Who is it? It's me, madame. It's me. May I come in? Oh, Maria. Of course, come in. What are you doing here at this time of night? Well, yeah. Was just wondering how you were doing. Should I have left you alone? Oh, it's no trouble at all. I'm always glad to have you. You're making me blush, madam. I got the feeling you were a little down in the dumps. So I'm not here because I need to be. I just kinda ended up here, I guess. Maria. Sorry, I'm not making any sense. I can be a bit of a busybody, you know? Trouble with boundaries, I guess. Never been able to fix that. No, I don't consider you intrusive at all. I cannot count how many times your bright smile and your cheerful energy have shone a light on me when things were dark. If I didn't have you, I would have given up already. You seem to see right through me. Even now, you're exactly right. I am feeling a little dispirited. The garden was an even bigger life raft than I thought. Perhaps I'm being overly dramatic. I get it. I do. You put your heart and soul into tending that garden. It was obvious how much you loved them. Of course it's going to hurt, watching a bunch of men stomp all over your flowers when you've cared for them like your own children. Now, I know I said this once already, but you don't need to force yourself to put up with him, really. You don't have to bend to his will just because you're a woman. You can survive without him. Anytime you want to walk away, that's your choice. I mean, I'd sure be lonely if you left, madam. But your happiness is more important than any of that. So, you know? Thank you, Maria. I truly do appreciate it. But I would still like to wait for the day I can see his warm smile once more. If you say so. Well, in that case, guess I'll just have to be there to back you up. It'll be alright. You leave everything to this holy virgin. I'll have a stupid grin on my face no matter how down you're feeling. You really are the reincarnation of the Mother of God, aren't you? No, you. I told you it's just a joke. Whatever. So, hey, madame, how about a dance? Dance? At this time of night? Yep, and since it's so late, no loud music. All you get is a little whistling courtesy of me. But this room is too small for... We'll just use the Great Hall. Wouldn't that put us in everyone else's way? He would probably complain about the noise, too. No need to worry. Jacobo's out inspecting some factory or something today. After that, he's got a meeting, so he'll be staying the night elsewhere. The rest of the maids are in their rooms chatting away. No one will notice. Where I come from, we dance all the time. We take, eat, drink, and be merry to heart. No food or drink for us, but we absolutely can't dance. Dancing is a great way to forget all your cares. I'm not much of a dancer. No big deal. Nobody's watching. Come on, put on a little fancy perfume and let's have some fun. I don't have any perfume, though. Didn't think so. You've got all the right ingredients, madam, but you don't try to make anything special out of them. You've got so much potential, but not even a decent-sized wardrobe. At the very least, you should wear some perfume. Which is why, ta-da, I brought some with me. The maids are in love with this stuff. It's a big hit with women all over the country. The base is vanilla, and it's got several other fragrances mixed in. Give it a try. It smells divine. But Maria, Come on, what's the harm? Just a little splash on your wrist, like so. What'd you think? You were right. It smells wonderful. Doesn't it? So you like it? Yes, very much so. Excellent. Now, off we go. To the Great Hall. Are we really going to dance? You bet your butt we are. It's not healthy to hold up in your room all day. I know you can't handle a lot of sunlight, but you still gotta have some fun and move your body. Come on, let's go. Oh, Maria. Though she looked outwardly uncertain as Maria led her forward, hand around her wrist, the white-haired girl seemed to be enjoying herself on the inside. Having spent her life without a single friend, she never dreamed the day would come when she would find herself being dragged through the empty halls of a dark mansion by another woman. Maria's presence seemed to shine a light upon the quiet corridor. It would have been very lonely trek without her. Maria spun around, gave an impish smirk, and raised her pointer finger to her lips with a soft shh. The sight of it caused the white-haired girl to chuckle quietly. The two of them, on their way to their secret private ball, were like two adolescent girls. In short order, they arrived at the Great Hall. My heart was pounding all the way here. What's there to be nervous about? It's not like you're breaking any rules. Only kids get in trouble for staying up late. Once you've grown up, you're responsible for yourself. I will say, though, that it seems rather odd for two women to dance together. Oh? If you're having a good time, what does it matter what's between your legs? Where I come from, there's dances where families lock arms in a big ring and go round in circles. So he says two girls can have some fun together. I imagine you had many good moments with your family. Well, I don't have a family anymore. What? Alright, so I'll show you how it's done. Watch carefully, because you're up next. Okay. With a wide grin on her face, Maria began whistling softly and prancing across the floor with an energetic rhythm. It was not the kind of complicated dance you'd see at fancy parties. The motions were simple, flowing, unembellished. A folk dance, I suppose you might call it. She seemed to be improvising a little bit as well. But in any event, the white-haired girl was captivated. Despite it being a sequence of steps anyone could replicate, Maria breathed life into the dance. She was neither as lithe as an acrobat nor as light on her feet as a professional dancer. She was her own lively, beautiful self. Maria twirled in place, the skirt of her maid uniform billowing gently up around her. With a smile, she extended her hand toward the white-haired girl. She hesitated for a moment, but as if being pulled forward by some invisible force, she took Maria's hand. Hand in hand, Maria ushered the white-haired girl into her dance. It was just the two of them, but you could almost see the crowd forming around them, the other people stepping up to join in. That's it, madame. You're doing great. Now lift your leg up. Good. And spin like so. This is not easy, Maria. I'm having trouble following along.
You can do it. Looking good so far. You're a natural, madame. Oh, Maria. I won't fall for your flattery. I mean it. The whispers of the two girls. Their muffled laughs. Step, hop, step, step. The rustling of fabric. Many different sounds laid atop one another, creating a little bubble of happiness in the center of the hall. The white-haired girl's movements were a great deal clumsier than Maria's, but Maria would never disparage her for that. On the contrary, she showered her with praise. As flustered as the white-haired girl appeared, I imagine she was quite pleased. Before long, the tightness in her face muscles loosened, a smile spread across her lips, and she began to brighten up. See? What'd I tell ya? Fun, right? Yes, I'm quite surprised. Both that I can dance and that I'm enjoying it so much. Glad to hear it. They exchanged looks and both laughed. That might have been the first time I'd ever seen the white-haired girl look so delighted. However, because of her infirmity, she quickly found herself out of breath, her porcelain skin flushed red. Maria immediately stopped for a break. She could surely have continued dancing for some time yet, but Maria was conscientious of the white-haired girl's physical condition. She looked over at Maria regretfully. My apologies. If only I had more stamina. I'm hardly a suitable partner for you, Maria. Sure you are. This is all to cheer you up, madame. So as long as you're having fun, nothing else matters. And heck, I'm enjoying myself plenty too. What do you think? Would it be nice to do this again sometime? Whenever you're feeling down, let's dance. If you really do enjoy dancing with a frail girl like me, then I would be glad to. Have a little more confidence in yourself, madame. You're so pretty and kind-hearted. I have loads of fun when I'm with you. So you don't need to be so hard on yourself. Got it? Thank you. The pleasure's mine. It's an absolute honor to have the rare opportunity to see a bright smile on your face, madame. My apologies for keeping you out so late. I should get back to my room. Oh, I didn't even realize what time it was. I'm more than up for a little gum flapping. You have improved my mood more than adequately. I would not want you to be tired for work tomorrow. Aw, okay. Well then, let's get out of here. Yes, let's. Uh-oh. Smiles on both their faces, they made to exit the great hall. However, before they reached the door, it swung open. A man's towering shadow cast the two women into darkness, his cold, bitter glare fixated on them. If I'd been even the faintest premonition this might happen, I would have done anything in my power to stop the two cheery girls on their way to the hall. But I am eternally powerless.
What are you doing? Oh no.
Standing before them in the doorway was the master of the house, Jacopo. I thought you would not be back until tomorrow.
And how would you know that? No, forget that. Does my staying the night elsewhere have any effect on you? You were just waiting for this opportunity, weren't you?
No. What would I possibly want you out of the house for?
I'm sure you know better than anyone.
What?
What is that smell? Perfume? When did you get perfume? And I have to say, you seem to be having quite the time. Look at you. You're out of breath, red as a beet. I made the right decision coming back. Where the hell were you going?
No, I wasn't going... Jacopo, calm down, seriously.
You shut it! Now you're taking this tramp's side? I've told you before that you're not to leave this house without first consulting me. Or do you mean to tell me you've forgotten? God, your ears aren't just for show, alright? They're better than that. They'll even throw out the parts you don't want to hear.
No, I swear I wasn't doing anything to you.
Silence! I've no interest in your excuses. You're always watching from the shadows, observing, trying not to step on anyone's toes, and in the back of my mind you're mocking me.
No,
Listen up and listen good. You just try stepping out of line again. You just try disgracing me again. You will not get away with it. For the love of God. Get back to your room now. You too, Maria.
All right.
God, what is this sickeningly sweet smell? How utterly infuriating. It'll take forever to get this off me. I always thought you had at least some sense of taste.
Uh-oh! Why did he have to disgrace her so? What did she do wrong? What did she do to deserve that? She did nothing whatsoever wrong. She deserved none of the ridicule he showered her with. However, she was not a strong-willed woman. She did not have the courage to retort to the man yelling at her. And neither did Maria, it seemed. Without another word, they both scrambled out of the great hall, away from Jacopo. The white-haired girl was a painfully miserable sight to behold. The cheer had drained from her spirit, and the rosy hue from her now pale cheeks. She was hunched forward slightly, looking like a small, scared animal. Say, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. If I hadn't asked you to dance, and me bringing the perfume only made things worse. No, you need not to feel bad about anything, Maria. Everything you did was with my best interest at heart. So, don't worry. I'll be fine. So, Madame, I'll clear everything up. I really am to blame after all. He wouldn't even give you the time of day if you tried. He's a stubborn little shit when he's mad. I'll talk to him. He's more likely to listen to me. I'll make sure he knows he was jumping to conclusions, that I'm the one who dragged you out there to dance. And also that I forced you to wear the perfume. I'll clear everything up, okay? So please, you cheer up. It would be best if I could tell him myself. But yes, you're right. He would likely not listen to me. He rarely ever listens to me. I should be ashamed. I cannot even hold a simple conversation with my own husband. These things happen, you know. It's not easy being married, in a lot of ways. Yes, you're right, but I apologize for having you do something so unpleasant, but I would appreciate that. Oh, no problem. I'm glad to. And no need to apologize. I've got this. I'll dunk his head in cold water until he's not blowing steam from his ears anymore. I'll cool him down. Promise. And you never know. Maybe he'll open up to listening. You could be back to the way you were a year ago in no time. Don't you worry. I'll take care of it, madam. Be positive. You look so much better with a smile on your face. All right. Thank you. I doubted Jacopo would listen, even coming from Maria.
Oh, this is her.
I doubted Jacopo would listen, even coming from Maria, and I imagine the white-haired girl felt much the same way. However, she grabbed on to that sliver of hope. She let herself dream. She let herself believe, even just faintly, that everything would go well. Such is human nature. When uncertainty has you in its clutches, you grasp at whatever hope you can find to keep yourself afloat. That night, she did not sleep. She was afraid that even in her dreams, Jacopo would be shouting at her. She felt as though her memories of a year prior were beginning to crumble away.
Damn. Come on, man.
The next morning, Jacopo stood alone in the den by the billiards table. He appeared to be rather agitated. His face was twisted into a frown, his pointer finger tapping restlessly against the hard surface of the table. Evidently no longer to stay in one place, He paced a circle around the table, then swiped up a rack in the queue, setting up a game of 9-ball. I'm not intimately familiar with the ways by which men entertain themselves, but in truth, I was bewitched by the sight of him leaning over the table. It almost seemed as though a steel rod ran straight from his shoulder to the tip of his outstretched finger, upon which the cue was secured by another finger looped over it. With a smooth, flowing motion, he thrust the cue forward slightly, pulling it back and repeating the process once more, before ramming it into the cue ball, swinging it rolling into the diamond of colored balls. A chorus of clicks and clacks emanated from the center of the room. Balls collided with one another and ricocheted off the cushioned walls, a few landing in the pockets situated around the edge of the table. Jacopo appeared to have accomplished this with little trouble, but I imagine merely striking the cue ball with a stick would be rather difficult for someone inexperienced. But despite his accomplishment, it seemed to only exasperate his agitation. Lousy positioning, he muttered, though I hadn't the faintest idea what he was talking about. What should have been a game for his enjoyment, he went about with a constant look of exasperation. I suspect he was using it as a way to blow off steam, and as a result, the tension in the air was palpable. I felt it would be improper to intrude upon him, even considering my distaste for the man. There was an undeniable beauty in every motion he made, every perfectly audible clack of billiard balls bouncing off one another. It was an enchanting sight. But then, someone without the slightest regard or appreciation for beauty came marching in with a hammer to shatter it like glass.
Gotta say, that was pretty impressive.
A man leaned against the frame of the door. He was neither a resident nor worker of the mansion. The man's face was covered in scraggly stubble, his body draped in grime-caked garments. His eyes were sunken so deeply it was as though I was looking at a fleshless skull, though there was a feral glimmer in them. Needless to say, he was not prim and proper.
How long have you been there?
Not long. But man, I can't help laughing. You were completely in your own world there.
What do you want? And why did you send the maid for me?
Don't be such a hard ass. We ain't strangers, man. Why should family have to go through the maids to see you? That just ain't right, brother. The door should always be open to the family.
Enough. I'm not your family.
We're bound by something even stronger than blood. By our family. Our Koska.
Don't. You only ever bring up the Koska when it's in your interest.
Ooh, scary. Come on now, what happened to you, little Jack? Where'd the little boy used to call me Uncle Tommy go?
Don't you dare use that godforsaken name. Get the hell out of my sight. What in God's name are you doing here?
The man hailed from the same country as Jacopo. They had a peculiar relationship. Though they were not blood-related, he referred to Jacopo as family. They came from a sunny island in the Mediterranean Sea, a place with many unique customs, and an entire underground society. Koska was a word that originated from and referred to those underworld families. It would be another 30 or so years before organizations like theirs received much public attention. At the time, they were not widely known. Just a short step into the future, and they would grow so powerful, the very mention of them would send a chill through the room.
Hey now, that's no way to talk to a fellow Berzati. You're on the short list to become the next capo famiglia. We respect our brothers. That's how we operate. I could go home and say you threw me out of your house. How'd you like those rumors to spread? The soon-to-be capo famiglia wouldn't even listen to a little request.
I very much doubt anything you said could cause damage to my reputation.
I ain't been exiled yet. And so long as I'm one of them, they won't ignore me. No, that's some mighty fine-looking whiskey you got there. Don't mind if I do.
Nothing here is for you to drink.
Booze is my lifeblood, man. No love for a brother.
You worthless leech. It surely wouldn't be long before you find yourself in exile. If you're lucky enough to get off the hook with just exile, that is. A child could snap that scrawny neck of yours.
If I'm gonna go, I'd rather go tied up, torched for days, covered in tiny little cuts from head to toe.
You sick bastard. You disgust me.
Call me a convoy adventurer. I despise the mundane. Last thing I want is to go out like a wet fart.
Is this what you came for? To waste my time with your insipid nonsense?
Oh, hardly. Surely you have an idea what I'm here for. And how much I need.
You damn maggot. A worthless leech. A sick bastard and a damn maggot.
What are the names you got for me up your sleeve?
You son of a... Do you honestly think this is how you ask for a favor?
Whoops, excuse me. I beg of thee, O esteemed future Capofamiglia. I'm bone broke. Not even enough money to put bread on the table. Could you spare a little for a brother?
You put this on yourself, I'm sure. I hear more than enough stories about you, and hardly any of them pleasant. Drinking, gambling, debauchery. I'm humiliated to be in the same Casca as you.
You want to make money playing? You gotta learn the game first.
Says the one who played himself into oblivion.
Now,
do you honestly believe I'll give you anything?
Oh, but you will. You got no choice. Casca rules. You're required to help a fellow countryman. Especially considering how few of us are stranded on this colossal landmass. You won't even notice the money's missing. It ain't because you can't, but because you don't wanna. But Jacopo, being a tight ass does nothing for you. Me coming to you for help keeps your good name clean. That's the thing about being boss. You quietly keep little shits like me out of trouble, so that trouble don't come raining back on ya.
Huh. You don't seem to understand your place. Rather than lecturing me, you should be on your hands and knees begging and crying for my help.
If that's what you want, I'll gladly comply. Happy to kiss your boots while I'm at it.
Don't even think about it. Know this, there won't be a second time. I'll be reporting your conduct to the family back home. I look forward to seeing how they deal with you.
Just try to have a little mercy, would ya?
Hey! Is there a maid around? It doesn't matter who.
Hey, it's our girl.
How may I serve you, master?
Get a single stack from the safe. Here's the key.
It goes without saying, but don't touch anything else. Give the money to the man as you're escorting him out the door. As you wish. Is that all you needed?
Yes, now get to it.
Very well. Excuse me.
Well. That's one look over maid you got there. But there's something, I don't know, eerie, strange about her.
Fancy that. We agree on something.
How long she been working here?
Couldn't tell ya. As I recall, she came with the house. Is that the kind of woman you fancy?
A gal you can't read will always be interesting.
Is that so? Now that he mentions it, how old is that woman? No, I suppose it doesn't matter much.
Oh yeah, Jacopo. One other thing I wanted to talk to you about.
What is it this time? And if it's more of your blather, I'll shoot you dead where you stand.
Now, no need for threats. This one's about your, better half.
What about my wife?
Well, to put it simply, yeah. She came to me asking for advice, looking a little distressed.
My wife asked you for advice?
Yup. From the sound of it, you're pretty rough on the little lady. That just ain't right, man. You managed to snag yourself a broad that pretty, you ought to treat her like at least a little better, yeah? She looks good with a smile. You gotta make her show it every once in a while.
Why would she come to you about that?
Don't ask me. Maybe she ain't got no one else to talk to. And you know, for whatever it's worth, I am a part of the same Casca. Guessing she thought I'd get through to you a little easier. Really, you just have to put a little more thought into how you act around her, and she'll be smiling for you like always. Oh yeah, I've got just the thing. Women love this stuff. I'm sure she'll be thrilled.
Is that perfume?
Haven't you heard? Everyone's talking about it. I'm a big fan of this stuff too. Smells great. Pretty girls smiles at you wearing some of this. Any man would be in love in an instant. You never given her nothing fashionable before, have you? It may look just like scented water, but can't let that fool you. Go on, give it to her. You like a nice smelling lady too, don't you? A little bitty scent can give a different flavor to your nighttime excitement. Vanilla. Well, I've said my piece, so I'll be taking my leave. Don't want to keep your maid waiting too long and get on the bad side. Hold on, Tommaso. Why would she... Make it last. That's all the advice Uncle Tommy has for you. Ciao. Wait, Tommaso! I could go after him. It'd be a simple task to catch him, grab him by the neck and make him tell me. Tell me where I spoke with her and what she told him. But why? Why will my net legs not move? Asking him for advice? Fashionable perfume? Her smile? She looks good with this smile. She'll be smiling for you like always. That can't be. She hardly ever smiles around me. But she'll smile for him? Last night when she was short of breath, having such a grand time wearing that perfume, getting ready to leave the house. Just who was that smile for? God damn it. Don't you think I'll let you run free any longer? Uh-oh.
His eyebrows furrowed, creating deep creases on his forehead. Several servants stood off to the side, watching their master attentively as he stomped past him down the corridor. However, no one said a word to him. Had I not been preoccupied in attending to his countrymen, I likely could have prevented it. The look on his face would have made it obvious something bad was about to happen. Something that would serve only to further her misfortune. She was already in a less than ideal situation, and it was perched on the edge of a hill, soon to begin rolling down into even worse territory.
Oh, fuck. No! Can this girl not have happiness? Can she not love a man that won't lead to her horrific demise? Can we get justice here? Oh my god. We have, like, the first one where it's like this incestual love triangle where she gets targeted by a psychopath. The second one where she's, you know, a poor blind beggar who gets dragged into this delusional maniac's fucking, like, murder spree and gets killed because of it. And now we got this shit. She's stuck in this abusive relationship with this piece of shit. She can't win. She can't win. Good lord. And that's only the 3 stories we've gotten so far. From what the black-haired maid said, I think in the last episode, it could very well be that there's been plenty of other instances where she may have gone through such similar things that we're not being told about. Okay.
Jacopo, what's the matter? If you wanted to visit, you could have said something, rather than coming in without knocking.
Is that really necessary?
Pardon?
Is there something you so desperately want to keep from me that I have to knock before entering? That I should have to let you know I'm in advance that I'm coming?
What are you...
Well, is that? You went to talk to him behind my back, I'm told. What'd you tell him? You moaned to him about my behavior?
That hurts!
You told him I'm rough with you? You cried on his shoulder because I'm not nice enough? Him of all people!
Wait, Jacopo! You're mistaken. Let me...
Silence! Not a word! Not a single godforsaken word! The only thing that comes out of your mouth is excuses! Lies and fabrication! You put on this sweet, innocent little girl like, but what's really going on in that head? Maybe I should just rip that mask off your face.
Stop, Jacopo!
You look down on me. You're nobility! And I'm just a nobody who married into it.
No, stop! Let go of me, please!
When did it start? How long have you been seeing him? Who else have you been seeing? Covering yourself in fashionable perfume and smiling, even though you never smile around me.
Please let me go!
I can see it in your eyes. He's just a worthless commoner.
Why would you think that? Why will you not listen to me?
Silence! It's all your fault, every last thing. I tell you not to leave the house, but you do. I tell you to do as I say,
but you ignore me. Every last thing you do drives me mad. I don't have time right now to deal with this, to rack my mind over you, over a woman. I don't have time for it. Why do you not do as I say? Do you not have enough already? Huh? Will you not be satisfied until you've taken even my arms and legs? I've given you money, clothing, everything. You have an incredible life. Look around you. That life of luxury you and your parents wanted, it's right here. You have it. What more could you possibly want? Why do you insist on being unfaithful? Unfaithful? You think that what I'm doing is unfaithful to you? How else could I describe it? You leave your room despite my ordering you not to. Don't you think I don't know? When you came to the den the other day, you had your eyes on the other men. No, I did not. I had no such inclination. Enough. Not another word from you. I have no interest in your excuses. If that's how you're gonna act, then say goodbye to your freedom. You're forbidden from leaving the mansion, or your room for that matter, or even speaking to the servants. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll make you a new room. Too many people come in and out of here, in and out of this one. It'll be somewhere quieter, out of the way. You like the garden? How about I put it there? If you leave that room without my permission, this time, I'll kill you. Why? Why will you not listen to me? Jacopo, master of the house, likely loved the white-haired girl. That is what I saw in their exchange. Normally, love is supposed to be a sweet, warm, and wonderful emotion. It makes you care for, value that person even more than yourself. But it was the exact opposite for him. I never knew that love could be such a painful thing. How did his love end up so twisted? What did he expect to happen by confining and abusing the woman he loved? Perhaps he was conscious of that. To be human is to sometimes find oneself jammed by uncontrollable internal impulses. A few days later, Jacopo dragged the white-haired girl from her chamber and led her outside. The garden she had once loved was now a thing of the past. It had become a dreary space. No Rio rose in sight, and being taken there did nothing to improve her mood, only sadden her further. The cold, grey piles of metal freckling the barren earth seemed to mock her. Her husband led her, the lady of the house, to a shed that had been repurposed into a Spartan living area. She begged and pleaded, but Jacopo would not have it. He shoved her into the sad little shack and locked the door.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and stop it right there. I know this one's been kind of a shorter episode, but I feel like that's just such a perfect stopping point before we go on any longer here. All right, let's go back. Whoa. Okay, so things have escalated very, very quickly. Again, I'm very sorry for how short this episode was. But you gotta admit, a lot of shit happened. So. Jacopo, oh fuck. I mean, like, I just knew something like this was gonna happen, right? That he just absolutely snaps. Oh man. This is interesting. This is very interesting. So he's locked her up in a shed in the garden. Oh god, oh my god. So here's what I'm getting from Jacopo. Obviously, he seems very, like, insecure and overly protective in a very strange way. Like the narration was just saying, right? Like, his love was the exact opposite of being warm and kind, and it's being very, very controlling and cold and, you know, critical. So that has obviously led him now to lock her in the shed. Huh. So, just kind of following the pattern of these past two stories that we've got, clearly this one isn't going to end any more nicely. I think we can pretty fairly say that. Pretty fairly confidently say that. I'm going to kind of throw out there what I think is going to happen. The only ally that she seems to have is Maria. Maria is pretty closely connected to Jacopo as well. But Jacopo doesn't really seem past turning on her as well. So it's either that Maria's going to try and help, shit's going to fly off the wall, and Jacopo may end up killing the white-haired girl. I could totally see that happening. Or it could even be a thing where Maria kind of takes her place. That one's a bit more far-fetched, I admit, right? But you got to keep in mind, Maria and Jacopo are supposedly childhood friends. So there is that. But again, this story is kind of a little bit more interesting because the black-haired maid seems to have the slightest bit more of a presence in it. And even then, throughout the story, she never takes direct action. In the first story, I'll scratch that. In the first story, she seemed to kind of almost spur on the events that happened just the slightest bit, considering she had more direct contact with the white-haired girl. In the second story, she was very, very hands-off, right? Like, she was there just in the beginning, but once the white-haired girl came into the situation, she, like, immediately kind of backed off and, disappeared, because there's plenty of moments where the beast was like, oh, where are you? You're here all the time and you're not here now. So, and this one is kind of the same. Well, it's kind of a mixture of both. She's there, and she has had a couple interactions with the white-haired girl, but fate just keeps twisting to where she is taken away from the active events. So even if she wanted to, she couldn't necessarily interfere. But it is kind of curious because because obviously the black-haired maid has to play a more major part in this story, same as the white-haired girl. Clearly, somehow they're connected to this mansion. I've mentioned this before. It's obvious. But I'm going to theorize a little bit here. I think as far as what I can go off of, the black-haired maid is essentially one with the mansion. Basically like a overseer, a guardian, or like a gatekeeper of the mansion. Because we know that she can... It seems as though she can not only look back in time and display to us as the reader the past events and happenings that she was directly a part of, but it also seems as though she kind of constantly has eyes all around the house. A lot of times she's elsewhere in the mansion, but she's describing to us these events and talking about her real-time emotions in that, during that event, as though she was there when she's not. So it does seem like she's kind of like an all-seeing, all-knowing guardian of the mansion. So that would kind of explain her consistent appearance. But the real mystery is the white-haired girl. She seems to be the same person, but at the same time not. In the first one, she was supposedly the offspring of a painter and the lady of the house, who was taken in kind of out of pity. In the second story, she was the daughter of some poor... I think it was a guy, right? Wasn't it? Another guy? Oh, no. It was her mother, right? She was presumably born blind and frail, and she had lived with her mother, who I think died? I think her mother died? I want to say that's what happened. And then obviously she somehow wandered her way over to the mansion. And, you know, in this one, she comes from an aristocratic family, presumably in the Americas. They might originate from another country and just move to America for Jacopo. And, you know, her family's just on hard times, so they've kind of married her off. So a lot of different lives she seems to be living. And she's, again, these lives aren't consistent, such as the black-haired maid. So it makes you wonder, maybe she's like a bringer of misfortune, right? Maybe that's what it is. The masters and the inhabitants of these mansions always seem to fall onto misfortune and tragedy when she arrives, once she gets involved with them, right? The flaxen-haired boy, you know, he's living a normal life. You know, he has a good relationship with his sister. His family's rich as hell. White-haired girl comes along. He falls in love. It turns into this incestual triangle. His sister goes batshit fucking crazy on him and drives her away. And then eventually, you know, he's scarred for life and the whole family falls apart eventually because they didn't produce offspring. You know, obviously because they're fucking brother and sister. Second story comes around. You have the beast of the mansion. And, you know, he's doing whatever it is he's doing, slaughtering the people. But it's only when she comes along that she appeals more to his human side. It causes conflict within him, which ultimately leads to the townspeople rallying against him finally and killing both him and the white-haired girl. And it seems to be the case here. You have Jacopo, presumably successful, even if very unethical businessman who's kind of seemingly built himself up from the bottom. And now white-haired girl's coming along. He's got these mixed feelings about her. Maybe loves her, maybe doesn't. And is now seemingly on the verge of what I would assume of losing all this, right? Because that's what's happened with all the other inhabitants of this mansion. So, just a couple of theories throwing it out there. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I guess we'll just have to watch the next episode to find out. Anyways, that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.